Cenk Uygur, and now you're making the rounds. You're everywhere. It's like chlamydia. I see you everywhere now. You're on Joe Rogan. And I mean, it's complimentary. By the way, you got yourself checked, right, after the debate? Because you went in deep. So what did you... What you saw the ride, you bought a ticket anyway. What has been?
What am I doing with my life, man? Holy moly! Wow. I do love the tape of the woman saying the most dangerous person in America. It's like we have you have them on tape handing out knives, and I'm the most dangerous guy in America. Like, really? I can barely use a butter knife. Like, I can't even butter my challah. Like, what are you even talking about here? So it is fully crazy. I mean, I have to admit that every time I talk about Alex Jones, I just want to rip off my jacket and go crazy. It's a supplements.
Yes.
But aside from that, I'm not a big fan. He suggested that I'm an atheist and that he would send people to the homes of some of the funders of the Daily Wire, and also that Satan should get behind him as he attacked me, and he was going to get in my business. So, yeah, Alex Jones and I are not the best of friends, but the fact that
I think that Ben is taking hallucinogenic mushrooms again, people, like Moses with the burning bush. If you listen to the same people online, that's their... Have you heard this conspiracy? People are like, "You're crazy, spaghetti monster God," and then they have this whole conspiracy about Moses was on hallucinogenic mushrooms with the burning bush. I'm like,
nice.
That takes so much more effort to make up that one. Just say it's non-existent. Let's just disagree.
Well, my favorite is when they suggest that I'm part of a dessert cult because they can't spell the word desert, so they instead say that I'm part of a dessert cult, which actually, frankly, sounds like an amazing cult. Like, if I were going to lead a cult, that would definitely, like the cheesecake cult. Come on, have a knish. Like, just come in.
Is knish a dessert? I'm not Jewy enough. I thought it was a
It is not
potato
actually.
thing.
It is not actually.
Okay.
So I should have picked like a kugel. Like a kugel would be better.
I'm calling you on your Jewish references. Look at this.
I know, my God.
Okay.
The Canadian Christian is nailing the Jew to the wall on his Yiddish references.
I don't feel comfortable. I don't like talking about nailing any Jew to a wall. This is taking a horrible turn. What was really bizarre was I did this thing on, first off, you're Jewish, okay? Hitler. Is there anything about Hitler's policies that were right-wing conservative? Yes, no.
No, there's nothing about
okay,
Hitler's.
exactly. I just want to make sure there's someone far smarter than me that said it. I did this and I wrote about it. We talked about the 80% tax. We talked about the gun control, socialized healthcare. And so you had two responses. You had leftists who were furious saying Hitler was a national socialist. And, you know, democratic socialism is still mob rule, which eventually will favor the nationalists because they're the majority, right? That's the whole problem with democracy over republic. So they were really mad, saying Hitler was not liberal. And then there's this strong contingency of people who, of course, call me or you a conservative, who were mad because they also want to claim Hitler was not liberal and that he made Germany great again. I'm not kidding. These are actual tweets. Hitler made Germany great again. It was funny. We were all kind of surprised with the Utah.
Yeah, that was the thing. Like, when I was hearing from you what was going on, kind of behind the scenes, I was thinking, like, if I die in Utah, that's going to be weird. Like, if I get stabbed to death in Utah, like, really, Utah?
And what if he happens to be a Mormon? Then you can never...
Well, then you know, I've made this joke on Twitter so many times. Whenever there's an Islamic terror attack, I tweet something like, the damn Mormons. And if I actually was stabbed to death in Utah, that would be somewhat ironic, actually.
Listen, Steven, you and I go all the way back to you actually trying out your Brazilian headlocks on me in my condo.
And you had a hernia.
I did have a hernia.
You had a hernia. I remember that.
Not gay Jared is the second gayest thing.
Well, that's because what ended up being gayer is you went with Krav Maga instead, which is just...
That's true.
It's
that
just
didn't work out
well.
No,
it's just
that lasted for like 6 weeks. And as soon as I started getting critical of Trump, then all of a sudden I started getting exactly what you've been getting, which is, you're a conservative, you're somebody who's... this is because you're a Jew, your Jew's coming out and all this stuff. And it's like, well, first of all, my Jew is always out. I mean, like, I wear this thing right here, this yarmulke.
Don't take it off. You're going to lose your Jew powers.
Well, for those 2 seconds right there, I was vulnerable. But fortunately, I'm in the protection of my protocols of the elders
I
of Zion.
picture it like a tea kettle where you take it off and the steam goes out, only it's pure cash for the Jews.
That's why I only take it off in the privacy of my own home. I don't want to share that cash with
No,
anybody.
of course not. You and your secret Jew goals. Literally say, and I'm not misusing literally, but when he was literally saying, "Of course," did you feel like you were possibly debating my impression of Cenk? Did it cross your mind?
There were a couple points where I started grinning because it's like all of a sudden Crowder's in my head, and I'm just looking across the room, and it's like those old Popeye cartoons where you're stuck on a rowboat with somebody and they start looking like a hamburger, and I'm looking across the stage, and suddenly Cenk looks exactly like StevenCrowder in the Cenk outfit, shouting, "Of course, Google it!" So yeah.
And the media doesn't care. The media's just like, well, they believe maybe they're tactical.
tactics are they're handing out ice picks and talking about sawed-off shotguns and luring people back to the cars.
Well, that's the part you're telling me about that I like, that they're giving Nakde Jarrett the knife and then the ice pick. You know,
they give him several.
And then it's like they keep going back to the car and bringing it's like a Tom and Jerry cartoon. They go back to the car and they bring him a stick of dynamite.
Yeah.
And then they bring him the little bomb with the actual flaming wick.
Right.
On the say, well, nothing can go up against Facebook. Nothing can go up against YouTube. I'm old enough to remember when MySpace was a thing.
I'm old enough to remember when Friendster was a thing. And Zanga was a thing before that. And that was nothing but Asians and horny emo kids. So I remember all of these things. No, you're absolutely right. Yes, I do mean that. It was Asians at Zanga, and then the horny emo kids took it over. And then it became basically it became a whorehouse like MySpace. It's tumbleweeds and prostitutes. That's what MySpace became. And that paved the way for Facebook. Final question on this.
You have your areas of expertise.
I do have my areas of expertise.
Oh my God. Well, it really only started when I started becoming critical of Trump. So my original view of Trump was that he wasn't conservative, but he was hitting some of the right people. So I was enjoying him hitting a lot of the right people.
I remember that.
Yeah.
I remember being like, what? Thinking it was odd because I said those same things, but you seemed more emphatically pro-Trump. But
no, I mean, it really wasn't that I was emphatically pro-Trump.
Right.
I was just anti the media that was attacking Trump for the wrong reasons.
Right.
It was one thing to say Trump wasn't conservative. Totally agreed. But some of the hits on Trump were illegitimate, and so I sort of try to at least be objective enough to take out media hits on whichever candidate. And I think that, and I'll be frank with you, I am the most pessimistic person on the right side of the aisle. I am deeply pessimistic. I think that we're going to lose the election. I think that it doesn't matter who we nominate. I come with terrible tidings.
Take the yarmulke off and see if you become more positive.
Hold on one second.
Is everything bright now?
Whoa.
I'm seeing things in a whole new light.
This is crazy.
This is manna, people. Why are we bitching?
Whoa, wait, like there's light in this room and I'm feeling sort of safe. Well, oh no, things suck again.
Yeah.
That was I don't know what happened there for a second.
You're a
but
self-loathing Jew, Ben.
It's the whole thing is whatever. If we're going to lose this time, and I don't know that we are, but let's say that we
hold
are.
on a second.
Let's
This
agree
is
with
a
me.
very negative
What
segment.
is your problem? You insensitive asshole.
Lighten it up.
Okay,
Give us something to
okay.
go on here, Ben. They're looking to
Okay.
you with the higher IQ to give them hope.